Hello, Graham Vincent, violin maker and musician. It's been a little while since I've done a video, and I used to do these videos with me just chatting away without any editing or anything, so I thought I'd do exactly the same, just to let you know what I'm up to. And yeah, there's not going to be any real major message in this video, but just, as I say, quick catch up really, just so you know I'm still here, and so you can see what I'm working on. Right, as I mentioned in a previous video, I'm lucky enough to actually have a really old English violin, which I find really inspiring, and quite a few of the people who've seen it have also kind of felt in a similar way about it. So I have got a few orders in from various people to actually build copies of it for them. So that's what I'm doing to start off with. It's interesting to see, you know, looking at the violin itself, you get some really obvious clues about how it's made. And so personally, I believe that the way something is made does influence the outcome. So, you know, an Italian violin will generally be made with an internal mould, whereas a lot of other violins are made with external moulds. And I think, you know, there's a little element in the way that things are put together that contributes to the final sound. It's quite clear that these English violins were put together on an external mould. So I'm doing exactly the same basically. So I've been making a couple of these moulds. I mean, it's just things like the way the corners are put together. You know, on an Italian, well, let's stop using the phrase Italian. Let's use the phrase sort of internal mould versus external mould. On an internal mould violin, you normally would put the centre bout ribs in first, and then you'd cut them to the blocks, and then put the top and bottom rib over the top of them, so to speak. So on the corner, you've got the upper and lower ribs running over the top of the centre rib, and then that's sort of trimmed off nicely. Whereas on a violin made on an internal mould, you've got the two, well, let's show you with it. I mean, basically we've got, you put both ribs into the corner together, and so they come together in a sort of just a butt joint, effectively. Well, side to side, not a butt joint end to end, but side to side. And then that thick corner is sort of slimmed down a bit, and so you can actually see the joint is in the centre of the corner rather than to one side of it, if that makes sense. Then the corner block is put in afterwards. It's fitted to the ribs. Now, having said that, some cheaper violins, of course, don't even have corner blocks put in. But anyway, it could be something in the way that goes together has a tiny effect on the sound, but what we all know is all these little tiny things add up to create a distinct sound. So what I would say is this English violin I've got has a beautiful sound, and it's kind of rich and mellow. Now, that isn't necessarily what you're looking for in all situations, but for a lot of people who don't need to be centre stage at the Carnegie Hall or something, that's a perfect sound. And of course, don't forget, most people performing in most situations nowadays are using some sort of amplification anyway. So, you know, you can, mixing and all the rest can happen later on. So, absolute crushing volume over and above everything else isn't necessarily that important. the sort of tone would be more important in that situation. I'm making 2 violins at the moment, 2 copies that is at the moment, one of which is going to be a wonderful instrument in bog oak with sympathetic strings as well. So that's quite, it's going to be really something. The other is going to be a copy of what my violin would have been when it was made. So at the start of the 1700s, it would, you know, have been absolutely a Baroque instrument, and you can see how it's been altered since. So this will be like a sort of newish looking violin set up as a Baroque violin. So that's going to be lovely as well. I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be really something. I'm really hoping that one has a sound that's identifiably the same or very similar to my violin. That would be really interesting if I can achieve that. So really looking forward to seeing how that turns out. And probably maybe 5 weeks from now I should know. What else have I been up to? I will put together a video, but I'm basically where are we? I have spent some time refurbishing, refinishing some just 4 violins, 4 very different violins. One really nice German lion-headed kind of Baroque violin that's been altered, probably from maybe the very end of the 1700s, start of the 1800s. One real cheap lion-headed violin from a factory workshop that's much later and not as nice. One Chinese violin, 20th century or very early 21st century, and one Czechoslovakian violin. All of them I took the fronts off and sort of repaired cracks and things like that, put new, sort of regraded the front on a couple of them, put new sound bars in, bass bars, pardon me, what I'm talking about, bass bars in. So it'll be very interesting to see how those 4 come together. I was going to refinish the Chinese one to see how far I can actually take it in terms of turning it from a violin that probably cost about 100 quid when it was new into something much more valuable. But having previously stripped some of these, often they're caked in this sort of orange finish. So I've just left it refurbished, sorted out. As I say, thin the front down, put a new bass bar on. And it sounds like 100 times better than it did when I got it. But it's still not going to be worth much, so I think I'll probably just hang on to that one and keep that one as the violin to have kicking around in the back of the car, or maybe because I've got a little yacht, maybe have that so that when I'm on my boat I've got a violin to play, because obviously boats are pretty damp and you don't want to be leaving anything terribly valuable on board. This bog oak is going to be beautiful, absolutely stunning. got a bit of an obsession with oak and bog oak at the moment. The last violin I made was a cornerless violin with reclaimed oak, front and back, and the sound was lovely, really nice. Still for sale. I think I might sneak down the church with it today and go and play it, because the acoustics in there are so fabulous, and they don't seem to mind me going down there. Anyway, let me just show you, if I can. I don't know how that's coming across, but that is going to be a really, really interesting violin, that one. Fabulous. Yeah. Mm. Oh. Well, I'm down the local church with this oak violin. I'm probably going to play this one at a gig I'm doing in a church this Sunday, so I wanted to just get my head used to hearing it in a church. But anyway, it's also I love coming down to our village church and just playing anyway, because the sound is just great. I don't know if it'll come across on the camera.